All right, what's up everybody? So I recently passed the FTMO challenge for a fourth time a couple of weeks ago in March, and I wanted to show you the trades that I took to reach the target profit. You can see here I completed the challenge in 5 days. I took 20 trades altogether. I had to take 5 blank trades to get through to the 10-day minimum. I originally had an 85% win rate on this challenge before the blank trades, so it was a really good run, everything considered. So let's get into the strategy that I used here. For the $100,000 challenge, you need to reach a target profit of $10,000, and then you also have a maximum loss of $10,000. So that means you have to base all of your calculations off of this number. Basically, you're trading this account like it's a $10,000 account rather than a $100,000 account. So with that in mind, I came up with a compounding strategy to get to that goal in just 6 trades. This is how it works. The risk per trade is $280 or 2.8%. You go for 2 reward on each trade. So if you win your first trade, you would now have $560. You then risk that same $560 to win $1120. Then take the winnings from both trades and risk that amount, which is $1680. If you win the third trade, you get $3360 plus the wins from the other 2 trades for a total of $5040 or $5,040. Now, of course, the commissions will eat into this amount a little bit. You'll actually have a little bit less than that, but the idea is to complete this process 2 times over, and you'll have made enough to complete the challenge. This is by far one of the easiest and safest ways to go about getting the challenge done, while still using a reasonable amount of risk at just 2.8%. I combine this compounding strategy with the 8 high probability patterns that I've discovered. You'll see that most of the trades I ended up taking were some form of trend continuation and occasionally a parabolic reversal thrown in there. It's almost always better to get into a trade as a trend continuation since you already have the momentum working in your favor. It takes a lot more energy and time for price to reverse than it does for it to keep moving in the same direction. Obviously, we're going for a high win rate here. Ideally, you want to get all 3 compound trades in a row without any losses. So now that you understand the strategy that I used, we can look into the actual trades that I took. Okay, so the first trade that I took was on the Euro USD, and this was on March 7th. So go ahead and take a look at that. So this was actually an EMA trend continuation on the hourly chart. So that's this area right here. So I take all my entries on the 5-minute chart most of the time. So you would enter in right here at this big engulfing bar. So if you wanted to be safer with your entry, with your stop loss, you could put it here. Or if you wanted to be, if you wanted to be more risky, you could put it there. Or if you wanted to be safer, you could put it here. And then your take profit would be right in here. So pretty easy trade there. You can see we're not worried about running into this support area right here. So, and then the trade itself took about 2 hours to go through, which is pretty standard for 2 reward trades. And then the second big trade that I took was on the NZD USD, and that was a little bit after the first trade on the same day, pretty much right around the open. So this was pretty much the same move as the first trade. So this was an EMA trend continuation on the dollar index. So let's see. So this would affect all the pairs with the dollar involved. So it's that area right there. So if you look back over at the NZD USD, we have a couple good entries. You could enter. Probably the best one would be here on this engulfing bar, and I believe that's where I took my trade. Actually, no, I took it right here. This engulfing bar here. Stop would be right there. And take profit right there. So another pretty easy trade. Like I said, this is very closely related to the first trade that I took. It's almost the same move, just because the dollar index is going up so strong. And then the third big trade that I took was on the Euro GBP, and this was the following day on March 8th. And this was actually the second compound trade for the first round of compound trades. So this move here was a combination move. It was a consolidation, trend continuation, and EMA trend continuation. So we're looking at this area here. You would enter, safe entry would be right here. Put your stop underneath the 21 EMA. And your take profit would be right there. So pretty quick, easy move. I believe that's less than 10 minutes. Nice and easy move, very fast. Most of these trend continuation, EMA trend continuation moves go pretty quickly, usually less than half an hour most of the time. And then the next move that I took, or the next trade that I took, was on the Euro AUD. And this was actually the third compound trade for the first round of compound trades. Go ahead and look at that. And honestly, this is one of the best trades I've ever taken. So I entered right up here. This really big fast move happened right when the market opened. I knew to get in. This is a really extended EMA trend continuation. So let's see. It's gonna look a little bit strange. Let's see. All right, so that's pretty much what that looks like. I got in right at the top of this big long tail here. And I think that trade went through in, what was that, 7 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes. So I definitely remember that one, even though it was over a month ago. I remember it like it was yesterday. And then the next trade that I took was on the USD CAD. This was the following day on March 10th. So this was my first 2 losses in a row, and then I quickly recovered and got a bunch of wins right after. So that was this move right here. I thought it would be a pretty easy trend continuation, so I entered my first sell right there, thinking that it would come down. It ended up being a fake out and continued going up. So I didn't know that at the time. So I entered the second trade here, also sold there, and it just kept on going up. So I then entered, let's see, I had three big wins. I took a sell here at the top of the parabolic move and took profit right around here somewhere. And then I got back in right here as an EMA trend continuation. And then I got back in as another sell up here. And that was the top of the parabolic. And took profit down in here somewhere. So these big parabolic moves, they give you a bunch of entries. So if I would have did this the right way, I would have entered this as a fake out. And I got all of this part right here. So you can sell here, you can buy here, and then sell again here. So then the next big trade that I took was on the GBP JPY. And this was the following day on March 11th. So this one was an EMA trend continuation on the hourly chart. So that's this area here. So then when you go down into the 5-minute chart, see it lines up perfectly with our entry there. So you could enter, I believe I entered here. And you put your stop right down in there. And your take profit right there. So once again, the EMA trend continuation took, I don't know, 20 minutes. So really quick moves, pretty easy stuff. So the next trade was on the AUD USD, and this was on the same day, March 11th. So you can see it was a really heavy move down on the hourly chart. So this big move down here usually means that on the lower charts it'll continue in the same direction, and that's exactly what happened. So I got in as a consolidation trend continuation right here. Put your stop right above the big engulfing bar and take profit right down there. So this move took a little bit longer. This was, let's see, this took about an hour and a half. Still not long at all, but definitely longer than the other trades that were, you know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So the last big trade that I took was on March 11th, also on March 11th, and this was the Euro USD. And we'll go ahead and take a look at that here. So this was another EMA trend continuation, and this was a little bit right after the market opened. So I sold right in there. So here's what that would look like. You want to put your stop as close to the 21 EMA as you can. And then you take profit right down in here. So you can see these EMA trend continuations, they usually always go by pretty quickly. This one was, I think, less than 15 minutes. So another really quick, easy trade there. And that was enough to reach the target profit. So as you can see, it took a little more than just 6 trades. Some of these I entered into a trade and changed my mind about the move and got out early. I had 2 losses altogether that broke the compounding chain, and I had to start the process over on the second chain, but I was able to pull it back together and get to the profit target pretty easily. You can see that I only took just a couple of trades each day. The main thing to keep in mind when you're attempting this strategy is to scan for really good moves with a lot of confirmations. You're looking for one of the high probability patterns, but you also want to take the overall market sentiment into account, along with trading volume. Does the trade look good on multiple different time frames? Are there any big support or resistance levels in the way of your take profit, etc.? You only need 6 trades altogether, so that gives you plenty of time to focus on entering quality trades only. All right, so there was my breakdown for my most recent FTMO challenge win. I also did just complete a $10,000 trial version of the challenge just a couple of days ago. I had an even higher win rate on that one, so I'll be making a video breaking down those trades as well if you guys are interested in seeing that. If you haven't already, make sure that you sign up for the Profitable Forex Trading course version 2.0 waitlist over at www.ccxcollective.com. I'm currently overhauling my Forex trading course, and if you're interested in purchasing the course, you'll be notified as soon as it's finished. So let me know what you think about my most recent win in the comments. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Forex trading and investing content. Remember to always trade responsibly, and I'll see you guys later.